Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel. Thanks for joining us for another video. Plenty of news and discussion to get into today on Dan Ashworth. Get involved in the chat as ever, Reds, because we want to know your opinions. And don't forget to smash that like button. Now, late last night, reports come out from the Telegraph surrounding Dan Ashworth. And in the report, it stated that Manchester United remain at least 13 million apart from Newcastle in their negotiations over a compensation agreement for sporting director Dan Ashworth. Newcastle want around 15 million plus a further 5 million in add-ons for Ashworth, who is currently on gardening leave after stepping down as club sporting director in February amid interest from the Old Trafford club. Your first thoughts on this?
Well, my thoughts, along with many other people out there, is confusion and worry. I worry that this deal really should have been sorted out. I'm just going back in time here thinking, well, why did Sir Jim Ratcliffe meet Amanda Staveley? Because nothing seems to have changed. I'm absolutely baffled by it, to be honest with you. The compensation deal, we all heard that they wanted 15, 20 million. They still want that. Nothing's changed as far as I'm concerned. So the art of negotiation seems to have failed here. And what also worries me and worries people out there is Erik ten Hag. He's not got the man in. Months and months ago, it looks as though Dan Ashworth was coming here. He's still not here, and he's still not here to help Erik ten Hag. That is a worry for Erik ten Hag's future, as far as I'm concerned.
Will they not give that role, though, for the time being in the interim, though, to Jason Wilcox until they get this deal over the line, though? Do you think he's more than capable to help out with this summer recruitment?
I'm not too sure whether he is capable. This is a massive club from the work what he's done previously and that. So I don't think he would be in that position for it. I mean, Erik ten Hag himself has spoken about he's working towards the summer, the transfer and all that. So I think there is things going on. But Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he came in, right, wanted a clean sweep, change everything, and that's what he's done at the top. He's got rid of everyone. Now, I would have thought that he would have gone all out to pursue Dan Ashworth, get him in working with Erik ten Hag. This compensation package, I feel Newcastle will be looking at it and will put the feet firmly in the ground and not move. They will look at it as an insult. Nothing's changed in 3-4 months. That's what's worrying me and worrying many other fans out there. Dan Ashworth, gardening leave. How long, really, can United afford to have him out on gardening leave?
But shouldn't Manchester United and Ratcliffe take a stance, though, and not bow down to Newcastle's demands? So, going into the summer transfer market, it doesn't make us look weak in what we've already been used to over previous summers, where we've just bowed down to transfer fees, etc., and we're to actually start taking a stance.
I think what's happened here, I think Sir Jim Ratcliffe has forgot what happens to Manchester United. It's the Manchester United tax, and he's failed to negotiate. I think he thinks that he's not overpaying for anything anymore like it all used to be. Yeah, that's great. Great in theory, great in the head, great for United, not paying it anymore. But at the end of the day, it's Manchester United. He can think what he wants. Newcastle, as I said, are putting the feet firmly planted on the floor. They've got to pay something. To offer 2 million, okay, with a little bit more, right, is not good enough from the Newcastle standpoint. They're going to feel insulted and they're angry. And I've said many times.
Sorry to interrupt there. Do you think they're still angry about that interview he done with MUTV in February, where as a Manchester United fan, we all loved his actual speech and what he was saying going forward, and he did say a few little sly digs, so to speak, though, towards Newcastle's way with Dan Ashworth and how they were handling him.
Yeah, listen, when Sir Jim Ratcliffe come in, he wanted the revolution, he spoke nice words, everything else like that. But at the end of the day, he was already telling us, we've got Dan Ashworth is coming here, and there hadn't been any negotiations. So I think he got on the wrong foot when he first came in, right? And the last thing to do is when you've got a target there and you know the person, you talk to him behind the scenes, that goes on. We all know it goes on. And then you arrange it nice and quietly. But to announce it like that, I think has thrown a spanner in the works here. But I go back to what I see, what the problem is. This is not helping Erik ten Hag. Now, the question Man United fans have been saying, right, is this really, right, a sign that you're not getting any help? You're not getting any help. We're not worried about bringing Dan Ashworth in to help Erik ten Hag because we've already made a decision. Dan Ashworth and the people what are being brought in are going to be working with somebody else. That's what people are saying out there. I'm not saying it's correct, but because there's that many ways of looking at this, right? Is it a failure? The negotiations. United aren't worried they're going to bring him in. They're not worried if they bring him in 6 months, 12 months. Ratcliffe has said that. That to me doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Why aren't they worried about bringing somebody in? What's going to change the things behind the scene?
I do think he's frustrated, though. I know you're saying he's not worried, but if you remember his BBC interview after he finished a marathon on Sunday, and I've got the quotes here, and he did say one of the problems in football is you get these new guys to come into the team, really capable guys, but they're all on gardening leave. And so it takes you 6 months to a year or even 18 months before they can actually join the club. And it's a real issue. So he does understand the severity of not getting him in, because he's going to be a key component in that backroom structure, Dan Ashworth.
Yeah, I think he's frustrated, like we're all frustrated, that things aren't getting done quickly. The staff, the coaching and the manager and all that, they're probably frustrated as much as Sir Jim Ratcliffe. But the thing is, he's had the negotiation. He personally went to Amanda Staveley, right? I think it was about nearly 3 weeks ago, right? And tried to sort the impasse out. He's not been able to do it. It doesn't seem as though any new offer from the very beginning has been put on the table. So for me and many other people out there, it's baffling why he actually entered into negotiations face to face with Amanda Staveley when there's no improvement on the table. And I think that would have more got Newcastle's back up than anything, that there is no change. But he's frustrated. He seems calm about it as well. I'm not calm about it because I want everybody in. He's come in, removed all the staff what are in there. There's more staff to be moved out, right? But Erik ten Hag needs the help if Erik ten Hag is the man. And I think that question is being asked out there a lot by United fans. He needs the help. He needs the right people. Well, he's not really 100% pushing and going overboard. It's a Man United tax, and at times you have to pay it, but he's not willing to pay it. Now, why is he not willing to pay it? That's the question what's being asked outside. Why is he not willing to pay it? Is he not in a rush because he doesn't see that Dan Ashworth needs to rush in and work with Erik ten Hag? That's a question what's being asked out there.
You've got other capable people in the background as well. You've got maybe, Sir David Brailsford as well. Ineos is Ineos Sport. You'd expect them to have their own databases as well around players, around Europe, around the world as well. As we know, Erik ten Hag's always been used to working under a structure at Ajax. And he has said in recent press conferences, they're already planning and they're prepared for the summer as well. So, is that not a positive when you hear him say that?
No, that's been a positive for the last few months when you hear that being said by Erik ten Hag. We're planning for the summer and that. But I look at it this way. Is it the same? Listen, at the moment, you want the right people in place. Okay, you don't want people doing a job what they're not qualified to do. We've had all that. We've seen what it is. I thought Sir Jim Ratcliffe wanted the right people in straight away, right, to avoid all that. You've got a job to do. Do it. You're not doing that job, right, because we haven't got the right person in place. We're going to get the right people in place. So it just seems same old at the moment. And I do fear that the manager won't be here based on something like this. There's more and more things. Dan Ashworth has to work with the manager. Well, it doesn't seem to be in a rush to work with this manager. That's what I'm saying. That's what other people out there are saying. And that's the worry about it all. People can't be doing other people's jobs. We've seen it. It doesn't work. So at the end of the day, Erik ten Hag, who's he going to work with? Then change. If he's staying, is he going to change and work with someone else like Dan Ashworth in 6-12 months' time? Doesn't make sense to a lot of people out there. Very confusing what's going on.
Yeah, just going to dive into the chat. A. McGuinness says, I think Sir Jim Ratcliffe talks way too much, less talking and more action. Gareth says it'd be nice to buy some players early and not when the season starts and it's more panic buys. And yeah, that's bang on, actually, to be fair. We'd like to see the roles reversed where we get our business done early.
I mean, there's a lot of criticism out there over the years about the Glazers, and we know all about the Glazers, never speaking to the fans, never telling us, giving us updates, what they think about the future, or anything what's gone wrong. They've never come out and apologised or anything like that, right? He's gone the other way, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He's come in, he's opened up, maybe emotionally as a United fan and things like that. And I think he has said too much. There is so much you can say. He seems to be wanting to talk about Manchester United every time a microphone's shoved under his mouth. In his face. At the end of the day, I think he needs to step back now and let the people do the work behind the scenes, and he needs to just like shy away. He's had his moment in the sun. He just needs now to back off and get things and get the work done now. So Sir Jim Ratcliffe, for me, I think he's stepped over the mark in certain places, the way he's spoken, and he disrespected Newcastle. And I said from the very beginning when he opened his mouth about Dan Ashworth, Newcastle will not like that they will feel like they're being disrespected and everything, and they're going to push this all the way. To me, and I've said it, they're not worried about the money. They're just now showing that they are a big club and they're putting the feet firmly on the ground.
Yeah, Akash Paul, cheers for your super chat, mate. He says, lads, we need to adjust to the fact that Ashworth won't be starting this summer. I predict he starts in November and Wilcox and Barada will be handling the summer.
Yeah, but like I say, I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is other people are doing Dan Ashworth's job, okay? And that's not what it's supposed to be about.
But these two, though, look, if you looked at, let's say, last summer, you know, I'm more confident with the likes of Wilcox and Barada than I would be with Richard Arnold and John Murtough.
Listen, there's no two ways about that.
So it's a positive, do you know what I mean? Instead of looking at it from that side, look, we want Dan Ashworth in now. We're not always going to get what we want right now. And maybe with Dan Ashworth, it's just one of them components that we're just going to have to wait a little bit longer for.
Maybe we are going to have to wait a little bit. Maybe we've fed too much of a dream too early. And that's probably down to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, like, giving our hopes up there and that. Yes, I think they're quite capable of doing the job, but it's not what I envisage and what a lot of United fans out there are saying. It's not what they envisage. It's go and get the people, go and get the right people, put them in place, and then in the summer, everything changes. So it's like repeat, repeat, repeat. It's something, to be honest with you, I don't think we need. But unfortunately, I think United, and especially Sir Jim Ratcliffe, have got off on the wrong foot in negotiations and the way they do it.
I was just thinking that it's a question for you all out there. Barada was told that it would start in the summer, but as far as I know, there's not actually a date yet of when he officially starts. I imagine if that's the back end of August.
Well, everything seems to have gone quiet on when he actually starts gardening leave, and maybe he was hinting at that with his interview after the marathon about we have to be patient. You're not going to get everything in one go, and at the end of the day, gardening leave seems to be the option for a lot of people at the moment. So we might have to be patient, but he's going to have to communicate a lot better to Jim Ratcliffe, and he's going to have to do negotiations better, because I and many people out there don't understand why them negotiations failed, because I expected after him negotiating with Amanda Staveley at Newcastle, within 48 hours, they would have been able to sort it out. These are the two people at the top of the tree in the both respective clubs, and they've not been able to negotiate.
You never know, though, because if you look at the way Sir Jim Ratcliffe, you know, become a co-owner of Manchester United, stuck in there, went for the long game, played the smart moves against Sheikh Yazim, and this might be a similar thing what he has to do here with Newcastle and Amanda Staveley, but will end up getting the actual deal done. He might not end up paying the reported 15 million plus 5 million add-ons in what it's saying Newcastle want. That figure might be less. So, no, for me, I wouldn't want anyone else inside that football club or anyone off of the top of my mind in wanting to get this deal done other than Sir Jim Ratcliffe, because he loves getting deals done.
Yeah.
You just look at his business empire that he's got.
Yeah, listen, you talk about the long game, right? You look at his face and his demeanour, okay, at Wembley. He knows he can't.
But he'd only just run a marathon.
No,
You know what I
I know that, right? But the thing is, that body language and that face told you he can't wait for the long game. It needs to be done and sorted as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I don't think the long game, right, is in the best interest of Manchester United. We need open heart surgery now, and it has to be done quickly. And this compensation package has to be sorted now. I don't think Man United fans will put up for the long game. We've put up with the long game for too long, and we've seen what we've got. We know what we've got, and we need open heart surgery, and everything has to be done, dealt with, and sometimes you have to wipe your mouth and be mugged off. This is the instance where I see we're getting mugged off. Wipe your mouth and just sort it out. That's how I see it. But lots of other United fans have been talking over the last 12, 18 hours and saying exactly the same thing. We can't wait. I get the sentiment and I get the feeling about being on gardening leave and, you know, someone else can do the job and that. But that's not the situation we're in now. It's open heart surgery and change it and get it done. Got off to a bad start. Open your mouth, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Now close everyone else's mouth. Get the deal done.
While he's on gardening leave, he could come round here and help us with the garden. But, you know, with Dan Ashworth, and it's a question out there, you know, that term best in class has actually been used quite a lot. Is Dan Ashworth actually the best in class? Is this man actually worth waiting for? Or is the, you know, sporting directors out there who are just the same or even better that maybe we should go and focus our attention on someone else? Or do you think he's the one target? That's it. There's no other names.
Well, there's no other names. That's the target. Listen, whatever you and I think, whatever people out there think, and I've seen people's comments on Dan Ashworth, right? Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Ineos, they believe he's best in class, okay? So whatever we think, only time will tell if he is best in class. But that's what they want, and they should get him. There should be no messing about here. I'm not sure if he's best in class, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I've got to trust what they think, what they say, and what they do. And at the moment, there's an impasse, and I'm not happy with it. Like many other United fans aren't happy with it. It has to get done. And I'll go.
The thing is, I think it'll give us all a lift as well as fans if he was to come in, you know, at the last game of the season or just after, so he's prepared then for the summer as well. I think it'd give us all a little bit of confidence then going into the transfer market.
You talk about getting prepared for the summer and got confidence going into the transfer market. Surely the most important person who it's going to have trust and look forward to it is Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag, having the man there to be able to go out there and deal with it, who is better than the previous people in place, like your Arnold and your Murto. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's Erik ten Hag. I'm thinking to myself, what's he thinking? Is he thinking, well, I've not got the people in place here. This is what I was told when Sir Jim Ratcliffe come in. I'm going to get these people to work with you. You're going to be able to work with these people, and this is how it's going to work. And at the end of the day, Erik ten Hag must be thinking, they're not in a rush to get someone in to work with me when we all know that Erik ten Hag, the people behind the scenes, have been poor, and he's had to stand there himself and defend this club, and there's no one else out there to do it. So at the end of the day, big worry for Erik ten Hag, right? And to me, I look at it and think, he might not be here.
Yeah, just going to dive into the chat. Tommy Brooks, appreciate your super chat, man.
Thank you.
Mate. Cheers for that. He says, buzzing catching you lads live. I would like ten Hag to stay and we have a clear out. It's annoying with all the backroom talk that makes the headlines when we need to focus on the FA Cup final. Like I say, cheers for your super chat, mate.
Well, I think we should need to focus on the pitch and the style of football and everything else, what's going on that pitch. But the backroom staff, yes, it just seems poor that we're talking about backroom staff. But Erik ten Hag, he's looking at it and he's thinking, I need to change things here. I need help, and he's not getting it. And the right person isn't in place to help Erik ten Hag.
Are you a little bit more worried as well that it's really Erik ten Hag who's still at the top there with maybe the final say on transfers, if you judge his previous two transfer windows, summer transfer windows, and there's not someone in there like your Dan Ashworth, you know, actually helping him and having that final say? Do you think ten Hag's more of a, you know, a manager that is actually a coach, so he can coach the players that are brought into him, or do you think he's that type of manager as well, who has a good feeling in identifying players in the transfer market?
Look, the reality of this might all be that Erik ten Hag walks away because he wants control of the players he wants, and he might not get that. But at the end of the day, what you're saying there, the players what were brought in, Erik ten Hag, they're my choices, in you come. Now, if the reverse happens, Erik ten Hag himself might turn around and say, well, I need control of this, this, and this. And if you're not giving me control of the players I want, then I'm off. At the end of the day, right, Sir Jim Ratcliffe might already know this, and the people inside the club might already know this. You know, it's a guessing game. It's a, will this happen? Will that happen?
There's a few more bodies coming in now who are going to be having a lot more of a say, and you'd think that'd like loosen his grip as well, Erik ten Hag, on especially transfers as well.
Yeah, that's why I said I think they're all aware. As soon as Sir Jim Ratcliffe come in, that decision of is he staying, is he going, has already been made, whether we like it or not. I think that decision has already been made for him to stay or to go. And I think there's a clear understanding, because if you go back when he was interviewed for the job, right, he was adamant, I'm coming in to do this job. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. This is how it is. Now, Sir Jim Ratcliffe would have been told about his appointment, how it was conducted, what was said, how he delivered himself and everything. So he's clear on the attitude of Erik ten Hag. He might not like that attitude, right? And they might have had a conversation, and then they might have said, right, well, we know what's happening in the summer. You carry on, and I'll get me men in. And this might be one of the reasons why he's not really fussed about getting Dan Ashworth in right now and being had over and mugged off by Newcastle by paying £15 million plus the add-ons. And that's probably why £2 million is on the table.
Yeah, Sim said in the chat, looks like another summer circus at Manchester United.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. I'm not the greatest fan of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and I'm hoping that he changes my mind and my opinion about him and the way we're going to go forward. But I don't want the summer of chit-chat and stories and all that. I want positive action, and that's why I'm disappointed and mystified about the negotiations face-to-face with Amanda Staveley and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, how within 48 hours the art of negotiation failed.
Yeah, Alan Shearer actually come out yesterday, and we know his connection obviously with Newcastle, and he did say Manchester United will get Dan Ashworth in there. It's only a matter of time. A deal will be done. Whether they have to pay what they wanted to or not, a deal will be done with Newcastle.
Yeah, but a deal will be done. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said gardening leave. You know, if it is 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, then it's gardening leave. He seems like to shrug his shoulders and accept it. That's no good for Erik ten Hag as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's just his way as well as showing a bit of frustration as well. I could see it. You know, in that interview, what he'd done after the marathon with BBC, he did look frustrated with his words on the actual gardening leave and the actual process around it.
Yeah, well, I think when he went and met Amanda Staveley, I think the only thing what he enjoyed was his lunch. I think he went out there raging, to be honest with you, seeing what it is now to run Manchester United and to see your pockets are going to get pinched. And I did say
he might end up with a drink problem as well running this club.
Well, you know, there's a few people ended up with that problem over the years.
Following United. Definitely.
No, I just think he's frustrated, and the realisation has sort of like crept up on him over the last couple of months how difficult it is to run this football club and get the right people in, and also the realisation of what it's going to cost. And that's a big thing. For something like this is just bringing in somebody to do the backroom stuff, okay? And it's talking compensation, 15, 20 million pound. He's aghast at that. He's coming here, right? And he's got rid of people and getting rid of more people, right? In every department. He's cost cutting. And quite rightly, he's going to cost cut now. We're not in the Champions League. There's no revenue coming in from all that. So he doesn't want to go out there and spend. But unfortunately, this is the way of the world. This is Man United. It's spend, spend, spend. And your pockets, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, as I said the other day on Sunday, right, are going to be emptied. And that's why the Glazer just look straight ahead and blank you.
Yeah, just going to dive into the chat. MJA says, have you seen her modelling pictures? I've not, mate, but if you've got a missus, I'd make sure you put them in your lock folder so she don't see them on your phone. Tommy Brooks also says, cheers for your super chat, my mate. If we win the final, do you think it will be a repeat of the Van Gaal? Basically, Van Gaal winning the FA Cup and then being sacked after it?
Yeah, I think it will be. There's a possibility that can happen. And at the end of the day, it wouldn't surprise me. The only thing is, win or lose in the cup final, I just hope it's not a repeat of the Van Gaal final. that when he picked up the trophy, okay, a lot of fans booed him. That was the most disgraceful act and part I've seen at Manchester United in my life, booing a manager who's picked up a trophy. Now, if he doesn't pick up the trophy, okay, he'll have his arms up in the air, waving and all that, and to boo him would be an absolute disgrace. The man he's had a tremendous amount of work on him, Erik ten Hag, and no other manager would have been able to deal with it. He's had the cards dealt badly to him the moment he walked in and Ronaldo opened his mouth. So at the end of the day, get to that final, put the best in we can, and whatever it is, and that's how we're going to have to see it.
Yeah, anything more to add?
No, United tonight. Listen.
What's the score going to be, Reds? Let us know what the score's going to be.
Smile on my face. There we go. Looking forward to it because it is going to be interesting to see how them players and manager reacts tonight.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We will be back straight after the match as well. So if you're available, get your notifications on or keep an eye on the channel and we'll have a match reaction out for you. Just like to say thank you for everyone for joining us. Stephanie, cheers for keeping a tab on the likes and how many viewers are watching, and everyone else as well for getting involved. Some great opinions in there today. Much appreciated, everyone, and we'll see you again later after the game.
Many thanks.
3 points. Thank you.